Can everyone hear me? See, there's chat going on already. All right. Well, welcome to my 500 to 700 subscriber live stream special. I see we have Panina here, Trashfire, Zapadox, Slaughter, of course. How's it going, Kelp? Yes, let's get this party started, shall we? So, as you all know, my name is Antoine. I'm going to ask real quickly, and before we get into questions for you guys, is there anything you want to talk about? I'm sorry, Kelp. I do really appreciate you staying up as late as you have to join us here. You want to talk about feminism? Well, we'll just go right out of the gate, shall we? This, I can't say that the state of pro wrestling is sad. I can't talk about the fires. Last time I talked about the fires, I ended up getting banned from Twitter. All right, before we start talking about feminism, let me get into. I'm an avid WWE fan. The last pay-per-view was very good. Night of Champions. So I can't say that it's a sad state of pro wrestling. The stories are at least on SmackDown are getting good. As for Raw, well, it's a horse of a different color. There's a certain draw to, I guess, backyard wrestling. It's just being able to see stuff that the WWE won't do anymore. Okay. I'm not gonna talk about Kenny Omega. All right, so midget wrestling is not that is not that bad. Cab, how's it going? Um, it, Funny story about backyard wrestling. When I was younger, and someone has video evidence of this, I was actually part of a small group of people that actually did backyard wrestling. Not the super. I set my reminder. I did backyard wrestling, not the super violent backyard wrestling, but the actual we planned out matches and things like that. And we wrestled on a trampoline. The one video recorded match I had. No light tube and barbed wire. We did real wrestling. The one match that I had was for the championship. We'd been doing this for a while. And it was against a friend of mine named Blake. Blake is what you would call a light cruiserweight, whereas I was a heavyweight. And unbeknownst to me, because he didn't tell me about it, he was going to do a spot. He ran out of the ring, which was the trampoline, and around the backyard corner. And the next thing I know is our announcer points out that he's on top of the roof. Yes, hardcore is really fucking stupid. Blake did a flying crossbody to me unprepared off of a roof. It was the best spot of the entire match, and I ended up catching him. It hurt, and I flipped him over and pinned him and won the match. But we did. I learned how to do the moves. I learned how to take a bump. I learned how to take a chair shot. I knew how to take. We used a not a briefcase, but it was a hard case that held the VHS camera recorder, and and I knew how to take one of those as well. Thank you, Nathan. It's Antwon, Antoine, but close enough. So that was my experience in backyard wrestling. And when I got older, I was working at a casino, and I met someone who did actual. Thank you, Kelp. I met someone who did actual wrestling. Like, he was part of a smaller group, a smaller federation, and we started talking. And he trained me for 2 days, and then something happened, and he ended up not wanting to talk to me anymore because something that happened with an ex of mine. No, not dealing blackjack. Although I wanted to become a dealer, they make a lot of good money. I worked in a snack bar, but I still had to get certified. I had to have a background check, dealing with all of the money. So, so that was my foray into professional wrestling. I really wanted to get into it, but I got a knee injury from playing football, and it would damper a lot. So, all right, we have holy shit, 11 people here. All right, that's a hell of a lot more than my last one. Um, so hit me with a question. First question I'll answer. God damn it, Slaughter. If it's puns, I swear I'm going to hurt you. I don't know, Kelp, are you? If you are, you'll break my heart. What's the difference between a dead snake and a dead Russo laying in the road? There's skid marks in front of the snake. That's a burn right there. Well, that's a good thing then, Kelp. Well, I am at the mercy of you folks, you lovely people. So hit me with a question. Uh okay. That's actually a long story. So do you want the long version or the short version? I'm gonna mispronounce that name so much. How's it going? Aramalecia? Did I say that right? Probably not. Gabriel, yes. It's completely unnecessary. Okay, long version. Oh my. Okay, so when I started this channel, I wanted it to be a Magic the Gathering advice channel. Thus the name Help for the Guildless. There are 10 guilds in the world of Magic the Gathering. The guildless are people who are said to need guidance. So that's what the whole basis of the name was. Halfway, about 6 episodes in, I started. I ended up being a very good wingman for who was my best friend at the time. He hadn't been laid in years, and there was a girl at a party that was really basically throwing it at him. He wasn't dating any, or he was dating a couple girls, but he wasn't in a serious relationship. So I said, go for it. Why not?" So they ended up having sex, and she white knighted him right away. And what I mean by white knighted him, I mean she went the full bore. We're talking, she had an abusive ex boyfriend that she needed his help. Uh, I freestyle most of the time. I started writing scripts at the beginning, but I couldn't get into the flow of it to make it sound not um, read. What I do is I rehearse, and a recording session, as fun as it is a pain in the ass because I'm not a perfectionist, but if I don't think a joke is going to work right, I will record it and re-record it and re-record it. For the Everyday Feminism video, I got 10 minutes in, didn't like the way one of the jokes were going, and scrapped the entire thing and started over. So, no, she didn't accuse him of something afterward. Kelp, you're making me blush. No, she didn't accuse him of anything afterward, but she basically moved in with him that night. So she was with him every moment of every day. Anywhere we went, she was there. I don't mind that. Okay? It's just when she started talking about things that she didn't understand. Uh, a recording session. Okay, so I'll get to the story, I promise. The recording session for the Everyday Feminism video, I'm using that for example because it's the last one. The full recording was 56 minutes long. I cut that down to what it is. So record, and that's with cuts and things in it. Um, I have a very simple I have very simple editing equipment. I don't have anything expensive. My editing equipment is free. That's how not expensive it is. So the editing takes forever. The recording is fine. It's fun most of the time. It's just picking and choosing what I think you guys would enjoy hearing. Yes, exactly. Microsoft Movie Maker. And I've gotten quite good at it. All right, so back to the story. So she white knighted him, was with him every second of every day. She started talking about things she didn't understand. Now, I wasn't into the social justice politics thing. I enjoyed. Oh, thank you. I enjoy talking about politics. I don't enjoy discussing politics. Well, I didn't. Um, so to cut that in half, we ended up not meshing. Well, Sony Vegas 11 is $35 that I don't have. Um, it got to a point where I couldn't be around my best friend because she was always there. I'll check it out. I just heard about Rags today because I watched Andy Walski's live stream. How's it going, Amy? So I stopped hanging out with him. I started just kind of doing my own thing. Um, and in doing my own thing, he got upset that I wasn't inviting him anymore. So, being a very honest person, I told him, "Is it still going on? Are you fucking kidding me? The man's gonna have like $2,000 by the time the damn live stream is over." How's it going, Jen? Um, so he asked me why I wasn't inviting him over anymore, and I told him flat out that I don't like your girlfriend. I think she's turning you into a bad person. He had me he had me on speaker, so when I was saying it to her. And she didn't she's now what she said is she respected me for being honest. What she meant is he doesn't like me. I'm going to excise him from his friend's life. So she started in on my yes. She started in on my thoughts. I'm very outspoken. Of course I am. I have a YouTube channel. So she started calling me out on things like that. She started trying to catch me in lies. She started trying to make me look like a bad person. And then it got onto, I wouldn't say I've always been a garbage human. So she started in on social politics. I didn't know what identity politics was. Let's just say we got into some arguments, and being the person I am, I went and looked it up. To cut this in half, because the story could go on a lot longer, I got roped into moving in with them. Oh, she was very much an abuser, and he was taking it very. He was very much taking it. I wish I would have done that. I'm just going to call you Z. I wish I would have done that, Z, because it probably would have went over a lot better. Yes, she was a feministic shit stain. I ended up living with them, and it got worse. Passive aggressive post-it notes, her giving me dirty looks anytime she saw me. Our friend, I worked a lot, so I was never really there, saying that our friends were so much better because they're actually there. She was trying to dig at me over and over and over again, and then she started in on the social justice shit, and I started speaking up. Fucked up is the that's the nicest thing I could have said it was. I was still trying to be a good friend. I was still trying to keep my best friend as my best friend, and that's what happened. So it got to the point where we weren't talking at all. Uh, yes, yes, she turned him into a mangina. Well, not the cuck. No, she did. Um, okay. We had a housewarming party. We all got our stuff moved in, and we had a gathering that night. Right? Everyone just blew off steam. There was drinking involved. This woman met someone on Tinder that night, talked to my best friend, and invited them over. Now, it was a girl, but they decided to go, while the party was in full swing, go into their room. He was not invited in, and have their fun. And that woman then had to do the fucking walk of shame out of our apartment around people she had no idea who they were. And everyone around, all of our mutual friends basically looked at him and went, "Are you okay with this? She just had sex with someone who wasn't you." "Oh yeah, I'm fine with it." He was not fine with it. But that's aside from the point. So yes, she turned him into a mangina cuck with another woman. The actual the actual term for what a cuckold actually is. Yes. Um, so, like I said, we got to the point where we were not talking to each other. We were avoiding each other wherever we were. She got banned from a local establishment for going off on me, calling me a manipulator, calling me all sorts of things. My life is going to be fucked. My life is over. How dare I do this to her? Blah, blah, blah. Around that time is when Gamergate happened. Well, no, no, it wasn't Gamergate. But it was around that time that things were starting to get interesting. Anita Sarkeesian had just released her Tropes vs. Women thing, and that, of course, was huge contention. And I wasn't getting any. No, they're married now and have a child. Um, I wasn't getting any traction on the Magic the Gathering stuff, so I shifted gears to just general geek news. And then that was getting some traction, and then I went from that to Gamergate happening and started talking about that stuff. It is the burgeoning of my birth, so yes. Um, oh, she was. I have a theory, and I will definitely explain it after this story. So when Brianna Wu got her interview in EDUB in Entertainment Weekly is when I lost my shit. And that's when Help for the Guiltless went from geek news to talking about social justice in geek things. And then it got to a point where I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to talk about whatever I want. If one of your German friends calls himself Discord Hitler and starts calling you Hitler's waifu, should you be worried? Just a little bit. So, here's my theory about this woman. The person, my who is no longer my friend, so I don't give a fuck if he sees this. He did not have a job, did not have a vehicle, was going to school, did not have anything going for him. I'm blown away by how fast the channel grew over the last couple of weeks. Just blown away, and I'm very much appreciative of everyone. So basically, my best friend was a slacker piece of shit. She got involved with him. I was working, had responsibility, things like that. He had a party, a birthday party, and thank you, Kelp. He had a birthday party. I showed up after work. She decided to get very true, Stunty, very true. Uh, he she started to get drunk. By the time I got there, she was fucking hammered. She decided she was going to go skinny dip in the jacuzzi. Thoughtgate? Oh, the unsleeved media. Yes. Um. So she was in the jacuzzi, naked. I went down there to find where my friend was. When I say she was showing me everything, I mean she was pushing her hips towards me, naked as the day she was born, and literally throwing herself. I turned her down. I think she was pissed off at me because I didn't want her. It wasn't so much that I didn't like her, it's that I didn't want anything to do with her. I'm sure she could have screwed the jacuzzi. She would have. Well, I'm glad you found me, Solomon. Um, After that is when she had problems with me. So it was. I mean, the way that I look at it is, there were three things. One, she really hates me, which I don't give a shit. Two, she wishes she could have me, which will never happen. Or three, she was jealous of my girlfriend at the time and wanted me for herself because I could actually do what, people want, what, you want, be taken care of. I wouldn't have touched her with 100-foot pole. I've seen her exes. The crabs on her would have jumped off and committed suicide if they could have. As yes, she coveted my man batter. So that's how Help the Gildas came to be what it is now. She's not even the village bike. It's the village doorknob. She's and she wasn't even that hot. Like she wasn't. You know how there are women out there that are like, oh, she looks kind of slutty. That's actually kind of hot. No, she looks like crack whore slutty. Do anything for $10 behind the gas station. I'm gonna Kelp. I'm gonna use that. Thank you, Nathan. Yes. Is there any other questions you guys have? Yelling at her reflection. Yes. Who's my all-time favorite promoter, announcer, manager, and actual wrestler? Promoter slash announcer would be Jim Ross. The man is a consummate professional, and he is just amazing on the mic. My favorite manager? Oh God, Mr. Fuji. I think it's more along the lines because he tried to be slick and sly when, he was always the heel manager, but he was always doing something. And my favorite actual wrestler, who I've never had a chance of meeting, even though I wanted to, is The Undertaker. My favorite on sheer cringiness? Oh God, it was sheer cringiness was oh God. The what was question 6? The one I put them out of my head because they're so fucking stupid. Like the one that got me the most was the fact that the first question you're supposed to act on the first date on a first date is, do you believe Black Lives Matter? That's cringy in itself, and most people would be like, well, check please. The one that was the most fun to answer was the sex work one, because I went through like 12 different jokes on that one, and each one got funnier and funnier, but more complicated along the way. So I stuck with what was simple and went with that. But that one was the best one for me to answer. What's the one event that I wish I covered? Uh I wish I would have gotten in on Gamergate at the beginning, because I was there from the beginning. I read the Zoe post, My first introduction to it was the conspiracy thing from Internet Aristocrat. I really wish I would have gone with my gut and started talking about that, because I have, it's something that I had to hold myself back on. What's one YouTuber you want to collaborate with? Poisoning the Well. Anyone who is listening to this stream right now and is not subscribed to Poisoning the Well, after this stream is over, go check out Poisoning the Well and laugh your balls off. They're hilarious. Well, that would mean me actually going on vacation, Kelp. Can't I can't afford a vacation as of right now. But if and when I do get a chance to go on vacation, definitely you can make a video for me. Kin Corn Khan. Why do I know that name? Is that a video game character? If I ever get a chance to go out that way, Kelp, I definitely will. See, I've played that game. What was the name of that game? I know that game. I used to own it. Yes. Zaphadox. Ah, you asked that question. Z, what I want to accomplish with my videos is exactly what I state in my introduction video. I want to I want to entertain as well as inform. I don't want to educate anyone, but informing people, sure. Education is meaning I have to teach someone. I don't want to do that. I want to entertain people. And I love pointing out stupidity. So I know this channel is going to go for as long as I can make it. The problem is deciding on which stupidity to actually talk about. There is no Russia conspiracy. People are just blowing that shit out of proportion. Giant flying cockroaches. Um, I am a beach bum at heart. I'm very much I'm a very easygoing person, but I've never been to Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii, but that doesn't mean I don't want to go. Um, Either Hawaii or the Caribbean. Actually, I'd also like to go to Australia. No, I haven't followed Dr. Jordan Peterson's Extreme Greed. I know who he is, and I did follow him on Twitter for a while. Um, he gets too preachy for me. Yes, the CNN reporter even said it's a big nothing burger. It's Oh, that sounds sad. I've wanted to go to France, but I mean, like, if I had one, if I could spend whatever, if I had the money to spend wherever I wanted on vacation, it would be Hawaii or the Caribbean or Australia. There's a place with bigger bugs than that. Where? Well, okay. So the thing about Jordan Peterson and his rise to fame against the SJWs, it's not necessarily specifically against the SJWs. It's against identity politics. It's against Canadian law being past C-16. That's why he has that. That's why people have started to follow him. Now his Patreon is legendary. What he's up to 50,000 a month. That's ridiculous. But the man puts in work. He puts out a new video every single day that is well researched. Plus, on top of that, he's also still a teacher. He's very outspoken. The man works constantly. Uh, yes, the top 10 of everything deadly is in Australia. Well, hello, James. My favorite anime show. Oh, uh, see, that entails so much. What genre are we talking about? Are we talking about action? Are we talking about harem animes? Are we talking about horror? Are we talking about single movies? I don't really have one of all time. I mean, one that I will watch every single time I get a chance is Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. Oh yes, they hate him. Super chat only works when I get to 1,000 subscribers. So if I can get to 1,000, I will turn on super chat if you guys want. Favorite action anime? That's easy. Cowboy Bebop. I thought it was actually from Soul Eater, but it turns out it's from a later season of Bleach. I found it on a free website and thought it was. I thought it was cool looking, and that's the only reason I chose it. Really, kind of favorite slice of life anime. Oh shit. Oran High School Host Club. Yes, 1,000 is relatively close. I'm at 725. Um, my friend Brockus, who, if you guys have seen the video, know that he's the one that gave me that weird fucking art piece. He, his, I'm actually on the west coast, so it is 6:40. Um, but Brockus wanted to get me to 1,000 subscribers before Christmas, which would have been nice. Ninja Scroll was one of the first animes I ever watched. That shit was intense. My very first anime was introduced as, well, basically Sailor Moon. I got to watch it. I found it when I was sick one day as a kid. I have known Brockus for a very long time. The way he is in his posts is exactly how he is in real life. And he's already sent me another video that he wants me to do. Um, I haven't watched it yet because I don't want to spoil anything. All I can say is the thumbnail has Bill Cosby in it. I would love to get to 1,000 in one day, but I don't think it's going to happen. Are you more of a control deck player, firebomber type of guy, or a brutal? I am a control player. Now, I wasn't at first. I went with the big stompies. I loved green, and I loved getting those big creatures out and people kind of going, "Oh shit, now what do I do?" But I evolved when I stopped. just messing around at local tournaments and decided that I was going to get serious, I went to Control and found out that Control is a lot of fun. And basically, because of my personality, the more people told me to fuck off, is the better I knew I was doing. Um, I played Esper Control a lot. It takes a bit. It took me a long time to learn how to play Control. But one of my favorite type of decks, my absolute favorite, is a mill deck. Hands down. I love the idea of getting rid of an entire library. Controlling, not domineering. Trust me. I make sure things last a long time. I did watch DBZ a lot. I got tired of watching the entire first season over and over and over again, so I stopped watching until I could actually get a hold of the real. A friend of mine, his old nickname, and this is a long time ago when I was on the sci-fi chat rooms. His name was Anime God. I ended up living with him for a while, and I actually got to watch the entire DBZ series from beginning to start because he had the actual videos, bootleg videos, but they were there. Fruits Baskets is fun. Shin-chan is weird. My introduction to my first introduction to weird was Fooly Cooly. That shit's weird. That shit is fucking weird. It's great, but it's weird. My favorite TCG. I have tried Pokemon. I have tried Yu-Gi-Oh. I have tried a couple others, but Magic the Gathering was my favorite. I started playing in 1994, right around fourth edition. So I've been playing for a very, very long time, up until a couple of years ago. And I'm even happier now that I'm not playing with all the bullshit that's been going on. Oh God, Master Roshi. No, what was crappy was the fucking live action movie that everyone wanted and they put out. Dragon Ball Evolution was the biggest pile of shit I've ever seen. That's, yes, yes, it did. Speaking of Jeremy and Unsleeved Media and everything, I will be doing a follow up video. I don't know if it's going to come out this week or next week because I'm still gathering evidence about things, and I did not expect me to be doing a follow up right now. There are RPG elements to Magic the Gathering if you take into consideration just the creatures, but there's no um like you're not playing a character. Story wise, everyone who has a magic deck is considered a planeswalker, and the planeswalkers are some of are the strongest people in the multiverse. And basically, when you sit down for a Magic the Gathering game, what you're doing is you are dueling another planeswalker. So when you come out, holy shit! Hello, Bering. Why do I, why do I have such well, I it's just natural, sir. Um, thank you for joining my stream. Thank you, everyone. I wasn't expecting Bering to show up. It's gone all the way to Portugal. Are you fucking kidding? Wait, Grimrazor, who should I check? Who should I check out for YouTuber law? Oh, that's his name. Okay, I read that wrong. Oh, their terms of service is shit, by the way. Yes, yes, we definitely need to purge WotC to make that shit great again. Um, it's gotten ridiculous, and I didn't expect to be doing a follow-up video as soon as I have, but things have been going on. Now, this video is not going to be as I my well, being a control. I'll get to the video in a second. Being a control player, blue is very, very important. But I did have red green for a while, and then I had a mono black one. But the video that's going to be coming out, there are certain things that I'm not too keen on that Jeremy has been doing. So it's not going to be as. I mean, I'm going to be critical of him, but at the same time, it's more like understanding why it's going on. Yes, they've been dealing with their fair share of bullshit as well. I ended up getting rid of most of my cards, unfortunately. I had to pay the bills, so I kind of did a fire sale. Um, Bearing, you released a video today of Christy Winters still going after you. Is there anything you can do about that? Like, she's going after you for no fucking reason whatsoever. She already tried to get you kicked off of Twitter. She wants to get you shut off of YouTube. She's what the hell is I know what her problem is. I just don't understand why she's going after you again. You haven't done anything to her. Well, I hope she doesn't get her way. I don't think she will. Albert, you don't have. I've gone after. I've. She is. She blocked me because I started making sense, I guess. But she won't respond to anything unless you have more subscribers than her. I agree. Fuck Chris. I wouldn't fuck Christy Winters, but someone definitely needs to because she needs something to ease her fucking. Have you noticed how establishment and TV channels, Manalik, Wage, etc., were very anti-USM, whereas more indie channels are pro to some degree? Is there anything to it, or just what is Oh, uh, it's because the Manalik, Wedge, and Professor, they're ingrained in Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast actually promotes them. The smaller channels who are pro Unsleeved Media, it's because they know that who Jeremy is. He speaks for the people that are normal, not the ones that are trying to push something. Mikey won't respond either unless I have more subscribers than him. That's the problem. And his whole bullshit about he would destroy Sargon in a debate. The man can barely string together a couple of sentences on an off the cuff video. He thinks he's going to be able to debate Sargon. He needs to go take a long walk off a very short pier. I'm not big enough of a YouTuber as of yet for Mikey to pay any attention to me. It took forever for even him to recognize Declan Black, and Declan Black had been calling him out a hell of a lot longer than I have. Now, the professor, thank you very much, Barry. Thank you. The professor does amazing product reviews. He really does, but he needs to rein himself in because he's stepping way past his reach. Again, that's the problem with Mikey. Someone needs to take advantage of that man because he needs to get something out. The amount of subscribers really doesn't matter. That's the problem. They don't. It matters to them because they believe that they can get more recognition. If you don't have more subscribers than them, they will not talk to you, and that's because they can't use your subscribers as ammunition. Bering has a shit ton of subscribers, a mega shit ton, and that is an actual measurement. The reason they go after him so much is because they want him to be held accountable for his subscribers, and that is. But they don't want their subscribers to be held accountable for their actions, and that is hypocrisy, a double standard, and it's bullshit. That's why subscribers matter to them. It doesn't matter to me. Exactly. Any response given is bullying. And if you respond to them, you're directing your subscribers to go attack them. Mikey said he wants to debate Sargon at the next MythCon. I doubt he's going to do anything about it. Speaking of, Bering, has Mikey taken you up on the offer of getting him to kill Roy? It- you're not. You're not responsible for other people's actions. You never are. As I stated when I talked about Jeremy and Unsleeved Media, being a shitlord of the internet, yes, you get a lot of hate, but I didn't think mind control was one of those abilities. The problem is they think that it's that's the subscriber thing. Someone with a larger reach has. He didn't want to go anyway. He even if you gave him everything he wanted, he'd find another fucking reason to not go. No, Thomas Smith is effectively blinked out of the internet again. No one really is talking about him anymore, except when they bring up MythCon and the fact that he got buggered on stage. But they want to blame everything on a single person, which is why they want to hold people accountable for their subscribers. I've looked through Sargon's comments. I've looked through Mundane Matt's comments. I've looked through Bering's comments. I've looked through Declan Black's comments. I've even looked through mine on the Chrisiosity video. They I had trolls too. Shit, go to my video about Sandman. It's my most disliked video, which makes me laugh, and I have a ton of people on there that are telling me over and over and over again how much of a horrible person I am. I think well, it's been funded, so if they don't do anything with it, are they going to refund everyone? That's because Kevin Logan is in the battle of wits, he would be unarmed. Oh my god. I went through 3 of his videos, and I I work graveyard. I listened to his videos. I had to crack an energy drink while I was listening because he was putting me to sleep. Now, I did come across a video of his. I'm going to do another one that is some of the stupidest shit I can't believe he honestly thinks can be possible. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's hilarious. It was supposed to be just small, YouTube creators and talking about whatever they want to talk about, and then Based Mama got it in her head that she was running everything. The going after someone's job is their very first line of attack. The the problem with that is look at Clementine Ford. She will scream and yell and call people the most horrible things possible. And if one person who happens to have a set of testicles calls her a cunt, she goes after the man's job and gets him fired. She doesn't want to defend herself. She just wants to make it go away. And that's why they go after someone's ability to live. If you are no longer there, they don't have to defend themselves from you. Well, she's been called that too. Um, but that Bering knows what I'm talking about. Someone called her a bad name, and she went after the man's job because he had it listed on his Facebook page. Okay, so go. That's what they want to push. Words are violence. They want to push the fact that everything is, horrible and everything, but if they say something, they're just defending themselves. And that was the big thing about Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy's a shitlord. He's a troll. He admits it. His video about Mark Rosewater, the poll, he was making a point. Mark Rosewater used a Twitter poll as evidence of something. And when he used their logic against them, suddenly he's the worst person in the world. Jeremy's a bully. That's fine. But you don't get to then harass him. You don't get to then threaten him. You don't get to threaten his family. You're doing the exact same thing that you're accusing him of. Now, their argument was, yes, but we're just going against a bully. No, you've become the bullies. You've become what you argue against. God damn it, Slaughter. God. You make it a point to make me facepalm at least once a day. Do you understand that? Yeah, Bering, I'm surprised she actually has a child. And just the fact that it's a son, that's the problem. She has a boy. I fear for that child's life growing up. My age, you'll be happy to know I turned 36 this last year. You can't convince them. You can't convince them that they are doing what they're fighting against. Yes, she has a child, and that poor boy. She has a live-in partner. They're never going to get married, and she says that if she ever did separate from her domestic partner, she would never get into another relationship again, which I don't think is a problem. What? That I'm 36? Just 9 years. Believe it or not, Sugar Tits was the very first large YouTuber to subscribe to me. I've had many a good conversation with her on Twitter. She's a very nice woman. Bearing, you lucky, lucky dog. Well, bear. Am I too old for you, Albert? Am I too old for you, Albert? No, she doesn't. I think even when she was sick, she wasn't off Twitter. I did. I assumed his species. I apologize, Barry. I didn't mean to call you a dog. Twitter is just an easy way to. It's mass texting. Just think of it that way. People love texting everyone. No one ever fucking uses the phone anymore. And when they do use the phone, it's to text someone. So Twitter is just an easy way of doing that. Still no edit button, but shit, we can add multiple tweets now. Wait. What are the good parts and what are the leftovers? No need to fight. There's enough of me to go around. Trust me. The thing about Twitter, Albert, I'll get to you in a second. The thing about Twitter is it's people are so shocked when someone responds to them. And I do mean absolutely fucking shocked. I just watched. I just watched a tweet thread earlier today where Tonkasaw responded to someone, and the person was like, "Why are you responding to me? You have so many followers, so many subscribers. I'm a nobody." You scream and cry for attention, and then as soon as someone responds to you, you run and hide. Echo chamber is not what it is. It's a fucking fort for some people. It is starting to sound like a date, and I'm not invited to it, and it makes me very upset. Okay, so Albert, Antoine is not my real name. I'm going to put that out there. I'm sure everyone understands that. Exactly. So Antoine is Antoine is twofold. Um, I have stage fright, so Antoine helps me. I feel so weird talking about it in the third person. Antoine helps me be able to talk to people. Thank you. He helps me stay. He helps me do this. If there's 20 people here, if I was on stage and there were 20 people in the audience, I could not talk to you. For the first few times that I started getting subscribers and started doing things, recording a video was nerve-wracking because I get nervous. So Antoine helps me loosen up, helps me become he's me cranked up to 11. He is also a shield against people who want to. It does sometimes. It really does. Especially when I get an influx of subscribers, I don't know if they're going to enjoy what I have to say. I get nervous about what I'm going to say. I get nervous about doing anything. This live stream for the last 6 hours was running through my mind, and it just gives knots in my stomach. Now, um, as for I don't want to I don't want to piss anyone off. This is not my real voice. Believe it or not, all I do is add inflection, and it's very easy to do it. I've been doing it for a very long time. I'm a gamer. I role play the whole thing. So being able to change my voice, not having an appearance on there, being able to be myself allows me to. Thank you, Kelp. Um, it allows me to. Okay, this is my real voice, and I was going to continue with my real voice for a long time. And because I work at night, I used to LARP, yes. Because I work at night, I would record at night. And I was playing Dungeons and Dragons. I created a new character. His name was Antoine. I was bored with the topic. Thank you, Z. Thank you, Kelp. Yes, this is my real voice. So just on a whim, I decided, what would Antoine think of this topic? And I started having fun. Thank you, guys. No, I'm not a Brit. Will I name your cat? No, I don't think Bering has a performance voice. It, yes, yes, I am. Very much so. It's very easy to jump into jump into Antoine. The way I look at it is Antoine is a puppet. Thank you, Bering. God damn it, Slaughter. So, finish my story. I recorded a couple of episodes with Antoine and put it out there, and believe it or not, I got a bunch of subscribers with him. And so I just went with it. And it stuck. Where will I be when they build a ladder to heaven? Who is building a ladder to heaven? Thank you, guys. A ferret? Why would you get a possum? Don't Possums are horrible, vile, evil creatures. I did a 3-hour live stream on Overwatch as Antoine. No, okay. So the whole channel radio thing was because my audio was shit. And it didn't matter what I did to fix it, it never worked. If you have watched the older videos, oh my god, they're horrible. So I was part of, I'm part of a bunch of YouTube groups. Um, and I asked for help. Believe it or not, the I was getting to a point where I was going to shut down Help for the Guildless. I was not getting any subscribers. I was not getting any interaction. See you later, Hawk. Have a good night. I wasn't getting any interaction, so I begged this group to help me with any advice. I don't care if they trolled me. I don't care if they disliked every single one of my videos. I just need help. And this random person decided to watch one of the videos and said, "You sound like you're speaking out of an old radio. So why don't you download a picture of an old school microphone, add sepia tone, and go from there?" So I tried it, and it worked. and I enjoy the sound, and I enjoy everything that it's done. Cha, brah, Californian born and bred. Well, thank you, Ezekiel. Well, Nathan, you bring up a very, very good topic. Um, I do have a Patreon. I don't like pimping it. Actually, I got a new microphone. Is basically all that happened. I got a new microphone, and I used Audacity instead of just a regular microphone recorder. I do have a Patreon. One of the rewards is, if you sign up for it, I will read something that you want, and I will, whatever it is. If you want me to read pages of a phone book, I will. I don't pimp the Patreon. It's there if anybody wants to do it. I don't want anyone to feel pressured. So I only have three tiers. One is what everyone does, is a patron only live stream. $5 is you can submit. Uh, Let me pull it up here. I believe you can submit something for me to read, or I think it's you can submit one of the a weird video. This is how often I go to Patreon. Okay, so $1 is patron only hangout. $5 is attempt to make Antoine go nuts. You can suggest an article, a topic, a story, or a video you would like me to cover. Um, and, within YouTube standards, no sex, no nudity, or anything like that, no murder, anything that I can actually put out. And then $10 is a dramatic reading. You can pick whatever you want, and I will read it for you in my typical dramatic fashion. I, Kelp, I have to deal with that daily. Slaughter talks to me all the time. You have no idea. It depends on where you are, Albert. If that's what you want me to pay, if that's what you want to pay me to say, yes. I understand YouTube standards are not that high, but I'm talking about, if you want me to review a video, it can't have, outright nudity. I'm working with Movie Maker here. I can't really do anything um, super great with censorship. Um, Same thing with reading. I don't think they actually care if you read sex scenes, but they can't show them. Thank you for joining me, Buzz. Everyone, if you like bee puns or really interesting animations, check out Bee of the Hive's site. Um, he's actually very talented. I read To Kill a Mockingbird a very long time ago, as in high school, and my thoughts on it. I'd have to reread it. I really don't remember. I, I, I just remember it's a the story is horrible. I mean, the story is good, but the outcome is horrible. I'm sorry. Do you really? I would think the whole witch hunt vibe of it seems very what's the word I'm looking for? Poignant today. No, no, I have not. I don't want to either. I watched. I never read the book. I watched the cartoon, and the cartoon is just bad. I understand that. It's just thank you, Kelp. I deal with. I am not going to say that, Slaughter. Very much so. Especially with the witch hunt that's going on in the MTG world, it's really, really horrible, and it's very telling. I understand that it is, and the problem. I mean, it's just the whole bunny thing. It's supposed. It looks like it's going to be a kids movie, and then you start watching it and going, "Oh my God, why?" Albert, if you DM me on Twitter, maybe we can set something up about hanging out someday. My days are very busy though. Like because I work nights, I don't get much free time. No, I haven't. Does Antoine have baby Antoines? Antoine doesn't have baby Antoines, but I have a baby. I have two actually. I have a son and a daughter, which again is the reason I stick with hiding myself as much as possible, because that same woman I was talking about before. Thank you. That same woman that I was talking about before, that white knighted my friend as hard as she did, she called Child Protective Services on me. So I keep myself pretty tight. Yes, she did it anonymously, except when the people from CPS asked me if I hated women, I knew exactly who reported me, and they left almost immediately afterwards. I'm sorry, Kelp. I don't mean to break your heart. I will not. I will not begrudge you your fantasy. The whole Hollywood meltdown thing is it's getting out of hand now. You see, everyone was all up in arms about Harvey Weinstein and then the Me Too thing, and now just thinking about it differently is getting people pissed off. Matt Damon said that it's a case by case basis, and there's a petition going around to get him remove his cameos removed from Ocean's 8. It's getting that bad. Wrongthink is becoming a thing, and God help me, if 1984 comes even more true, I'm going to go on a rampage and kill somebody. I don't like this bullshit where you can't say what you want. I haven't seen the new Star Wars. I've heard so many bad things about it. Um, go if you want a great review. Go to Sargon's review. It's hilarious. I haven't laughed out loud at a YouTube video in that much in a long time. No, the whole Rotten Tomatoes thing. Apparently, it's being blamed on trolls now. Right wing, alt right trolls have attacked all of the Metacritic sites to send in wave after wave of bad reviews. If Sargon asked me to do a This Week in Stupid, fuck yes, I would do one in an instant. Yes, I actually followed the Lindsay Shepherd thing quite well. And believe it or not, there was an investigation into the complaints about her, and the investigation showed that no one complained. So I don't know what's happening with that right now, but I have a feeling that something bad is going to be happening at that school. You're going to private message Sargon something. What are you going to private message him? Yes, Ezekiel, free speech is very important. With and that's the thing that I love. Okay? These these intersectional idiots continue to talk about how the patriarchy is keeping women down and there's a fascist in office and everything like that. And then they have the balls to say that they're being silenced on a YouTube channel that has thousands of subscribers and people listening to them. Yes, they're very silenced. They're doing all of this on their, white, uh, not white privilege, because not all. Anyway, they're doing this on all their privileged instruments and electronic equipment and everything else. I don't know if Dankula's going to prison. I think he's hilarious, honestly. Um, I his his take on the unsleeved media situation was absolutely hilarious. I wish I had thought of some of the things that he did. But these idiots that want to talk about free speech and then they don't understand what it actually is. Now, one of the biggest arguments against Jeremy right now. Gnostic, that's horrible. I haven't seen his veganism video. I actually just Sargon is awesome. I just recently with the whole I didn't know who he was until the pug doing the Hitler thing. So after that, I started looking into him more. But he's absolutely hilarious. Well, that's one of their main arguments, Amy, is that they free speech does not come without consequences. That's very true. Free speech does not come without consequences. Everything I've said on this live stream, I stand behind. Everything I've said in every single video I've put out, I stand behind. At the same time, I understand that if someone takes something I say the wrong way, it could be offensive. The problem is offense is taken, not given. So if you're offended by something I say, that's on you. It's time to get over it. I'm crass, I'm sarcastic, I'm cynical. It does not matter. I'm this way with everyone I meet. If you have a problem with me, we can't be friends, and then I don't give a flying fuck. Do I know Seaman? No, I don't know. Yes, Kelp. Oh, and by the way, when it talks about their free speech, they don't want consequences. They don't want consequences as long as they're saying something because they're the oppressed minority. That's very true. I could get written up at work for something I say. That's a consequence. But I mean, seriously, they want severe consequences, and that's because they can't deal with someone actually having a differing opinion than them. They don't want to see it anymore. They don't want to fight against it. They don't want to argue against it. They just want people to shut up about it. Okay, you want to do a response video? Oh god, a target. That's the thing. You can't have a specific target in mind. Now, I could say I want to do a response video to Christy Winters, which I thought I was going to do a while ago when they did the, Operation Shiny Object. But I went through the stuff and it's just babble. When you want to do a response video, you want to find someone who has a point and then respond. When I did my last response to Mikey, I went over his points that I wanted to respond to a couple of times to make sure I knew what I was talking about, to make sure I knew how I was going to say it. So you just have to, if someone says something and you disagree with it, that's your video to respond to. You don't have to actually pick anything. You don't have to have a target. So if you're watching, hell, you could have a problem with something I say and do a response video to me. It doesn't matter. Are you asking how to take the video, how to download it, or you want to do an Antoine exposed video? By all means, if you want to, go right ahead. I did a Bering exposed video, and he actually tweeted it out. So I'm hoping he enjoyed it. I look forward to it. Thank you, Nathan. Grim, going after someone's job because you didn't agree is their only move. If that doesn't work, then they go after your livelihood other ways. Um, they go after your Patreon. They go after your hobbies. They go after your children. Well, there's something that you already got wrong. I'm not married. Speaking about people who've inspired me, Bering is an inspiration. Well, now it's Mr. Metica. He was an inspiration. Just people, I saw them doing something that I wanted to do, and it's even Markiplier. A little bit too much in the opposite direction. You veered that one a little far to the left there, Kelp. Um, I got inspired by these people because I saw that they were enjoying what they did, and it was fun. You know, with me, guys, flattery will get you absolutely everywhere. So please, please keep it up. Well, it was a little bit more than a silver tongue. Mr. Metica is a fucking god on YouTube, apparently. People are, especially with what's going on right now, I don't think he understands the impact he really has on people. It's why he quit being internet aristocrat. He didn't like the exposure that he got. It wasn't that we were people listening to his first few videos were hanging on every word. Yes, you have, Kelp. That is the way to do it, Gnostic. Well, I'm glad I've been your target, believe me. And speaking of my silver tongue getting me into places it doesn't normally need to go, I actually had crushed someone's ego with it. Exactly, Albert. That too, which I don't ever plan on doing. Is there anything else you guys would like to ask me about? It's because it's a threat. People want it's the same thing about going after your livelihood. They want you to be scared so you don't say anything. If a trans person with a penis wants to change clothes, which room does the person use? What type of clothes are they changing into? 42. That's the meaning of life. It's a man to female. So they're changing from male clothes to female clothes. I guess whatever one they're comfortable with. Uh, Type of work, I've said it before, I'm a security guard. I have had I've had a federal background check and a CIA background check. That was fun. Education is I've had some college. I don't. I don't have any pets. That question was asked already, Gwen. It depends on the genre. As I said before, if I have to go with the anime that I'm willing to watch every single time, it is Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. But there are some pagans who don't believe that they're witches. Now, hentai is a fun genre, don't get me wrong. Uh, no, not Midnight Mall Cop or a bouncer, although I could be one. I've had job offers for it, they just didn't pay enough. And then there was another one where I needed a carry permit, which I don't have. Um, well, I've wanted to study so many things. At one point, I wanted to be a lawyer. I also wanted to be a psychiatrist, well, a psychologist. Um, and if we go with what I wanted to study when I was younger, I wanted to be an oceanographer and a marine biologist. If I was going to go back now, business. Money is more important than anything else right now in this day and age. So, getting a business degree, I could start working as a store manager or something like that without ever having worked there before. Um, Dog or a cat person? Doesn't. I'm both actually. Um, I've had dogs and I've had cats. My last pet was a cat. We had to get rid of her because, well, she didn't like the new baby and was peeing all over everything. So we had to get rid of it. Right, carrying permit in California. But the difference is it's a little bit easier for me because I've already had the background checks because of the security guard issue. Um, I don't really have an opinion on guns. Honestly, absolutely honestly, I don't really have an opinion on guns. Uh, I live in a house with guns, but I'm not a gun nut. I know which each individual one looks like. I've used them, but it doesn't bother me. Possum or a hellspawn? Well, I already have hellspawn, so again, possums are vile creatures. If you want to, kelp, no problem. I've had cats for the last few pets. I actually want a dog. I grew up with a dog. Um, I want my daughter to grow up with a dog. I think I think she would love a dog, but the place that we're staying right now doesn't allow pets. If a group bans Nazis, should they also ban communists? Yes. Well, it depends on. Okay, that's a very blanket statement. What are they banning them from? That's the problem. The question is very, very, very vague. But like, if it's a party, what? And the definition. Now, are we talking actual Nazis? Are we talking neo Nazis? Are we talking skinheads? Are we talking the new definition of Nazi, which is anybody who disagrees with me? Well, I don't agree with someone owning like a rocket launcher or even a flamethrower, but a submachine gun like an AR-15. Well, it's not. 1,000 guns is too much. I mean, you could say 100 guns is too much because then you're trying to. It sounds like you're trying to build an army. But what if those 100 guns are collectibles or they're displays or something like that, and they're in your room? You don't actually use them. So again, there's context that's involved. If they ban the new Nazi definition from some place, should they ban communist? Well, that place is going to be absolutely empty if they're banning Nazis. So yes, if they ban the new definition of Nazi, they should ban the definition or the if they should if they ban the new definition of Nazi, they should ban communists as well. Andy is still alive because he has nothing to do right now. Remember, his girlfriend is in Ireland, Scotland. So he's all alone. He has nothing to do except spend time on the internet. It's his job, so he's working. That's the problem. There's no real definition of how many is too many. See, you can have 1,000 guns. You can have 1,000 knives. Hell, you could have 1,000 samurai swords and a fedora to go with each one. As long as you're not also amassing 1,000 people, I don't see why there's a problem of you owning them. People actually own Gatling guns? That's scary. Mead is delicious. I've had some really good mead. Well, Kelp, when I decide to do the next live stream, you're more than welcome to join me. Solomon, to be honest with you, this is a hobby for me, but if I got as popular as Andy and I was able to supplement my income, I would be doing this full time as well. It's this is actually fun to do. It's not it, it's I don't want to say it's not hard because I work 7 days a week. And I'm not talking about my normal job. Along with my normal job, I also do this constantly. The people I talk to, my girlfriend, the people I talk to at work, my friends, I talk about YouTube constantly. It's it's a job. You know, I work 7 days a week and I get paid for half of them. So if I could supplement my income like Woski does, fuck, I would do this in a heartbeat. What's my favorite tabletop role playing experience? Well, that's a loaded question. Um, I love creating characters. I think creating the character and creating the backstory of the character and creating the personality of the character is the best part. It's my favorite part of tabletop gaming. Kelp, you scare me. Um, Aside from D&D, are there any other really good tabletop games? BESM, BESM, not BDSM. That's not a tabletop game per se. It stands for Big Eyes Small Mouth. It's a anime based role playing game. There's also Vampire the Masquerade. Um, I've actually created some of my own. There's oh god, what else is there? Uh, Legend of the Five Rings is another good one. Pathfinder is good, but it's pretty much D&D just with better rules. Andy's streams are different though. He brings on guests. It's not necessarily just him talking. It's he brings on guests and they talk about whatever and then he gives his opinion on things. Because you have a halberd and an armor-piercing crossbow. That's why you scare me. If I say something wrong, I don't want to get a halberd to the face. Thank you for joining me, Albert. You have a Merry Christmas as well. I'll definitely keep doing it if you keep listening. Solomon, I think that is the best way to deal with gun control, quote unquote. Um, because, but it also depends on what you are using it for. Um, oh God, I can't think of his name. Anyway, someone having 4,000 rounds doesn't necessarily mean anything if they're an avid hunter or they go out shooting. So, it again, context has to have a there has to be context. It's why gun control is so hard to deal with. Serial apist? God. Oh, well, Vampire the Masquerade. My very first character, which has become my moniker, which I use for my PlayStation account, which I use very regularly in games. I've had to retire him. His name is Cole Spire. I use that as my YouTube name. I used it before I became Antoine. Um, I created him in a game of Vampire the Masquerade. He was a Bruja, and I've used him so much that I've had to retire him. I've used him in D&D, I've used him in Vampire, I used him in BESM. It's gotten to the point where people expect him, so now I can't actually use him anymore. Have a good night. Well, have a good morning, Ezekiel. Thank you for joining me. Oh, well, happy birthday, Ezekiel. You should have let me know sooner. Kel, if you want to go to bed, by all means. I don't. I feel bad that I kept you up as late as I already have. It depends on when you do them and if you're okay with me doing it over Skype or something like that. But as I was saying about Cole, he was actually my first foray into creating a character with an accent, and he always sounded different in my head than what I could produce with my voice. So he was fun to play, and he was his latest incarnation in a D&D game I played him as is more of the personality that Antoine is now. So that's very true. Uh, if it was $5,000 a bullet, if I shot someone, goddamn right I'd be there. Excuse me, you have my property. All right, I'm only going to do this once, and I haven't done it all stream, so forgive me. I'm about to drop a link. If anyone wants to go there, you can. If you don't worry about it. But I was talking about it. That is the link to my Patreon page. If you want to, you can go. If you don't worry about it. What? Oh no. Okay. Well, that's well shit. That means I'm gonna have to change it on my default settings as well. All right. Let's try this. If you shoot on accident, do you sue for the bullet back? If it costs $5,000, you're goddamn right. I would do anything I can to make sure that it was used as a self-defense mechanism. Okay, that one, that link works. No, the second link is the one that works. I just checked it. Kelp, I actually just got a email. Thank you very much. So that just means I get to read whatever you want. Make it as weird or as interesting as you want. Don't be sad. Thank you. Thank you very much. So go pee. Yes, I do play EDH. I did have two decks. I had three at one point. Uh, One of them was Kalia, which is a fun red, white, and black deck. And then I had Nekasa, which was my group deck that was more fun because it made people take damage when they drew cards. But because I had to sell some things out of it, he's kind of in disrepair. The only EDH deck I have right now is Anmar, and I call it Anmar's Toy Box because it's a artifact deck. And when he decides he wants to bring things out, he opens his toy box, and I empty my hand. Most people I play Anmar against don't like him. No, don't worry about it. Let me ask you guys something. I already told you I have a Sandman video coming. I have another Unsleeved Media update video coming. What type of video do you want me to do? Have a good night, Gnostic. It was very fun talking to you. I don't think I could deal with the stream with Otter more than I already have. You do not understand the amount of puns he really goes he really has. The man is unstoppable. There have been times when I'm talking to him that I say I have to ignore you now because my hand can only hit my forehead so many times. Kelp, you're planning things without me, I see. I'm just checking my Twitter right now. I'm getting a bunch of messages, so I yes, I saw that. If you guys can do it on a time and do I read a lot as much as I can. Um, th- it's gonna sound bad because it's old, and I don't mean old as in oh it's ancient. I mean it's old. The last book I read was Deathly Hollows, um, and it's like the sixth time I've read it. I start over from the beginning and read the entire series when I'm have time. I also read R.A. Salvatore. I love his Dritz Do'Urden series. I have most of them except for the last few that he's done. Um, I read as much as I can, which isn't a lot, because I unfortunately don't have a lot of free time. Kelp, I will show up on that live stream if you guys want me to. Um, it just depends on time and date. Well, not time and date, but basically time and day. Thursday and Friday are my best because those are usually my days off. Would I prefer to read about feminism in ancient Egyptian? Okay. Feminism in ancient Egypt. I was going to say I can't read ancient Egyptian. Um, y- it's your choice. So it depends on what you want me to read. Now, remember, I can't read all of it. I'll read as much as I can. We'll say within 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Yes, you are. But speaking of R.A. Salvatore, um, the last D&D game I was playing, I played a barbarian. It was my very first time playing a barbarian, and his name was Rome the Unyielding, and he idolized one of his tribe members, and his tribe member that he idolized happened to be Wolfgar. So it was fun. The DM didn't the dungeon master didn't really know how to rein him in, but it was fun nonetheless. Sounds good, Kelp. Just you both know how to get in contact with me. It does not surprise me. He also he also decided to make Dritz his main character because his editor couldn't pronounce the name correctly. He is very quirky. For his first series, the Crystal Shard series, before he started writing the second book, he didn't realize how popular Dritz was. So he was actually thinking Wolfgar was going to be the main character. Once he found out that people liked Dritz so much, he shifted gears, and he enjoyed making his editor say Dritz's name every single time. You're doing just fine, Kelp. Why would you kill Beagle? He's such a wonderful little character. Well, I mean, my question was what I mean. So I'm going to be doing those weird, responding to weird YouTube art video things once a month because that's all I can take. Brockus says he has a bunch lined up for me. Now, I'm probably going to be doing that at the beginning of the month. But for my next two videos, I just have those. Is there anything you guys want me to talk about? I don't want to touch this whole Crowton T thing. I'm not a fan of Crowton T. I'm sorry to see him go because of the voice that he did have before he went nuts. But it's none of my business. Now, is there any articles or something that you guys have seen or videos that you want me to respond to? I rely on other YouTubers for my information just as much as you guys do. Coach Red Pill is a fucktard. I'm only doing the weird videos once a month. It's all I can take. I think Coach Red Pill is a fucktard, and that's the best thing I can say about him. He's trying to do what Christy Winters and Michael Rowlands and all of them do. He is going after larger audience YouTubers, so then he can put their name in his titles. So when you look for them, it pops up. He's a bottom feeder, and the worst kind because he thinks he's better than he really is. And the fact that he's so underhanded to the point where Sargon has to do an exposed video on him means something. Oh, he's very much a drama whore. If that's Andy Wolski doing streams about things that are going on, that's not being a drama whore. He's getting other people to talk about it. Coach Red Pill actively tries to cause drama, and when he gets it, he is happy. That's why I don't have to worry about doing pointing out stupidity. I've they make it so easy. Jordan underneath. Coach Red Pill would get his ass kicked by Jeff Holiday. Coach Red Pill doesn't look like he could fight his way out of a paper bag, let alone someone else. Did anyone see the picture of what's his name who plays Kylo Ren basically kissing Lena Dunham? It was one of the most disturbing pictures I've ever seen. That's one way to describe it, yes. And one for God Emperor. Um, I've always had plans to take over the world. They've just never come to fruition. I need to work on my ability to amassing an army. The sad thing is I know I could never get into politics because even if I got a modicum of success, I'd get assassinated for slapping somebody across the face verbally. I stand by my principles, and I think that's the problem with a lot of these fucking politicians. Speaking of, Brianna Wu is still believing she's going to win a Congress seat. Have you really? I I don't know about, like, I don't see how politics is I can talk about it. I can talk about it all day. I can talk about the differences of it. I don't think I can actually participate. Is there really? Yes, unfortunately, Wu still exists. The Weasel Party. I'd want to join. I would want to join you just for the political pin that I could have. Oh yes, Brianna Wu is pushing for Congress. She believes that she is going to win on the platform of the fact that, well, she's an SJW and she's a gamer and she fought Gamergate and won. Wait, Space Hamster's gone. Did he leave because of that? Because he couldn't do anything? Oh, the guy who did it to Space Hamster is gone. Okay, okay, I get you. I get you. Well, it's the same thing with the Elsagate bullshit. Those videos need to be gone too, and they're not going away fast enough. Well, he has such a large audience, so I would think you have to realize the whole Elsagate thing is having something happen to it because a huge audience got exposed to it. So YouTube is covering it up real quickly. So I don't doubt that because he did an expose video on it that it had an effect. My favorite alcohol. I hate beer. And that's I've tried many of them. I just can't deal with the taste. I like the hard stuff when I do drink, which is not very often. Um, oh God, my favorite drink is an AMF, Adios motherfucker. It is delicious. Yes. But an AMF has like 8 different alcohols in it. If I had to choose one, it would probably be rum. Well, Grim, I plan on having a lot of weird things on my channel with these videos that I keep getting. So, stay tuned. The triggered Black Lives Matter person. The feminist doesn't know how to fight. Oh my god, Magog is hilarious. I actually direct message. I DM'd him on Twitter. I saw his collab video with Bearing. I laughed my ass off. Yes, black people bring guns a lot. I laughed my ass off, and as soon as I saw it, I thought of an intro for him meeting Antoine and being pulled into another dimension. I Magog is hilarious, and I love the fact that his bird talks. The latest one he did on the Christmas video, I it warmed me up at night because I was laughing so hard at it. If there were if I had my choice, if I had my choice of people I would do a collaboration video with, the first choice would be Bearing. I would love to do a collaboration with Bearing. So my second choice would be Poisoning the Well. They are Fat Pat and Sophane are hilarious and they're extremely cool people. And then my third choice is Magog. I found him and I am so happy that I found him. I was actually on a live stream with Tonka. I wasn't on the Morning Kumite. I was on Failure's live stream. He promoted my channel when I only had like 60 subscribers. So I got to talk to him, Vamp, and Tonka. I look forward to both of them, Kelp. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been 2.5 hours. I do have to start getting ready for work. So, is there any questions, any last questions that you want to ask? Kelp, if you keep it up, you're going to make me be bright red for the rest of the night. Okay, last question. I do follow you on Twitter. Believe it or not, the reason I'm able to do all my recording and editing at night is my job is very, very easy. To say that this is the easiest job I've ever had is an understatement. What do you mean I don't? I could have swore I followed you. Well, I'm going to fix that right now. Thank you very much, Aramathea. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Aramalithia? Am I saying that even close to right? There, Kelp. I'm following you now. Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you very much, Kelp. Oh, look, a bot! It took 2.5 hours for a bot to finally show up. He was here, did his thing, and then left. Same to you, Amy. Same to you. What would I like to accomplish with this channel? Well, this channel is just to entertain and inform. I want to continue to entertain and inform and make people laugh for as long as I can. If I do make a difference by helping someone along the way, then that's what I want to do. As I said, for right now, it's just a hobby, and if I can ever make it something more, I will. And I am grateful for everyone that's come to the stream and everyone who's subscribed, and it's been amazing for me for the last couple of weeks. You guys are all awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that'll be it for me. Thank you very much for joining me. Merry Christmas to you too, Kelp. I will see you guys all next time. Have a wonderful evening. Maybe, Kelp. Maybe. Good night, everyone.